If you live in America, you have felt it. The squeeze. You look at your bank account, then you look at your rent, and the math doesn't make sense anymore. In the last 3 years, rent in some US cities has jumped 30, 40, even 50%. The news tells you it's inflation. They tell you it's just supply and demand. They say everyone just decided to move to your city at the exact same time. But what if I told you that was a lie? What if your landlord isn't the one setting your rent price anymore? What if millions of apartments across the country are actually being priced by a single algorithm? A piece of software designed with one specific goal: to ensure the price of housing never goes down. Today, we are opening the blueprint on the RealPage scandal. We are going to show you how a tech company allegedly built a digital cartel, how they accidentally admitted that empathy is a weakness, and why the FBI recently raided a corporate office in Atlanta to shut it down. You aren't imagining it. The game is rigged, and we found the code. To understand the crime, you have to understand how capitalism is supposed to work. It's called competition. If landlord A charges $2,000 for an apartment, landlord B across the street charges $1,900 to steal his tenants. The price stays low because the landlords are fighting each other for your business. But if landlord A and landlord B meet in a smoke-filled room and agree, hey, let's both charge $3,000 because the tenants have nowhere else to go, that is a crime. It's called price fixing. It is a felony. It sends you to federal prison. So, landlords stopped meeting in smoke-filled rooms. They found a loophole. Enter a company called RealPage and their software, YieldStar. RealPage realized that if landlords talked to each other, they'd get arrested. But if they all talked to the same computer program, they could achieve the exact same thing. Here is the blueprint of the scheme. Landlord A sends their private data to the algorithm. Landlord B sends their private data to the algorithm. The algorithm crunches the numbers and tells both landlords, raise rents to $2,500 tomorrow. They never spoke to each other. But the result is a digital cartel that controls 70% of the apartments in some US cities. But who built this? Meet Jeffrey Roper. He was the main architect behind the software. And here is the crazy part. He had done this before. In the 1980s, Roper helped build software for Alaska Airlines that was investigated for price fixing the airline market. He literally took the technology from the airlines and applied it to your home. In a leaked interview, one of the creators of this system admitted the quiet part out loud. He said the problem with human landlords is that they have too much empathy. If a landlord knows a tenant is a single mom struggling to get by, the human landlord might hesitate to raise the rent by $300. They might negotiate. The algorithm has zero empathy. It doesn't care if you lose your job. It doesn't care if you become homeless. It looks at the data, sees that you have nowhere else to go, and pushes the price to the absolute breaking point. And here is the smoking gun that the Department of Justice is looking at right now. The software isn't just a suggestion. Investigation documents reveal that property managers are pressured to adopt the algorithm's price 90% of the time. If a property manager tries to go lower to help a tenant, they often have to get written permission from a regional VP explaining why they are disobeying the machine. They automated the greed. And it worked. Rents in cities using this software outpaced the national average by double digits. But wait. If the price gets too high, wouldn't apartments just sit empty? Wouldn't landlords lose money? This is the darkest part of the blueprint. The algorithm taught landlords a new math. It is better to have empty apartments than cheap ones. RealPage allegedly encouraged landlords to let units sit vacant, called warehousing, rather than lowering the price. This creates artificial scarcity. By keeping units off the market, the supply drops. When supply drops, the price for everyone else goes up. Think about that. In the middle of a historic housing crisis, a computer code was telling landlords it was more profitable to leave homes empty than to let a family live there for a reasonable price. It wasn't a glitch, it was the feature. For years, this operated in the shadows. But then, the rent got too high. People started asking questions. And finally, the government woke up. In mid-2024, the FBI raided the corporate headquarters of Cortland Management in Atlanta, a massive landlord connected to this scheme. This wasn't a civil fine, this was a criminal raid. Then, the Department of Justice dropped the hammer. They filed a massive antitrust lawsuit against RealPage and the major landlords. The DOJ accuses them of effectively monopolizing the rental market. They are calling it a scheme to deprive Americans of the competition they deserve. This lawsuit proves one thing: the only way to win in this economy is to stop being a victim of the system and start owning a piece of it. They own the assets, you own a lease. You have to shift your mindset from a consumer to an owner. If you want to start building your own equity today, check out the link in the description for Robinhood. It's where I started, and if you sign up, we both get a free stock to help build that portfolio. Don't just pay their rent, start buying your own assets. So, why does this matter to you? Because RealPage is just the beginning. This algorithmic pricing is spreading. It's being tested in healthcare, in meat processing, in used car sales. The blueprint of the future economy is one where you aren't negotiating with a person. You are negotiating with a server farm that knows exactly how much money you have and exactly how much pain you can take before you break. The housing lawsuit is the first major battle in the war of humans versus the algorithm. If the landlords win, this becomes the new normal. If the DOJ wins, it sends a warning shot to every industry in America. You cannot outsource your monopoly to a machine. I want to know, have you seen your rent jump inexplicably in the last 2 years? Check your lease, see who manages your building. You might be paying the algorithm tax. If you want to see more breakdowns of the systems rigged against you, make sure you subscribe to the blueprint. We are just getting started.